we'll go ahead and get started for today's meeting. So I do see Allie and I do see Michelle and I see Sylvia. So we have established a quorum. Can I get someone to please approve the meeting minutes from the April 29th meeting?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
I love how you always lean in to talk, Allie.
Sorry. We're so official with the Robert's Rule of Orders.
And that's where we lose it. That's our official part, and then we move forward. So we do have a member introduction, and I am actually going to select, oh, Sam, you were on the call first, and I don't think we've had you go yet. So, but don't worry, Sam. I think Sylvia hasn't gone before, so she's going to start us off as one of our board members and tell us who she is, what she does, and a fun fact, and then Sam will ask you to do the same.
I think, Sabrina, I think I did it last time.
You did? Oh my God, I thought it was Paul last time. I should write
But a
these
lot of
things
people
down.
may have not heard it last time. So
Well, that's true. I can go again. I can think of a new fun fact if you prefer, or you could have someone else.
Has Allie gone? Allie, have you gone? Michelle, have you gone? Okay, Michelle. You're a lucky winner.
I don't need to go. That's fine. So I'm Michelle Altoff. I'm with Community Enterprise down in Alabama, not where my picture is in Tennessee. And it is 55 here, and it is definitely chilly compared to what it was yesterday. So I've been with Enterprise 15 years, commute 9. Moved down here to Alabama about 5 years ago or so. What else am I supposed to do, Sabrina?
A fun fact.
Oh, a fun fact. You guys know me, or some of you guys know me pretty well. The new fun fact that I used on a call the other day was who would be the one person that you would want to meet if they were dead or alive and why. That was our icebreaker. And mine would be Ben Franklin, because 1, I'm a history nerd. 2, I listen to Hamilton way too much, so I love constitutional things. And everyone has that like cool 6th, 10th person that they're related to. And Ben Franklin is like my 6th grade uncle on my mom's side or something. So it'd be cool to meet him.
That was an amazing fun fact. I did not know that, and I do know you well. All right, Sam, you're up.
I can't, there's no way I can do as well as Michelle on that one. But let me just say.
You could make it up. We'd never know.
That's true. I could do that. My name's Sam Patterson. I work at the University of Mississippi in beautiful Oxford, Mississippi. Been here about 10 months. Previously, I was in Idaho at Boise State University, and way in the past at the University of Colorado in Boulder. Been mainly in the parking and transportation field, but probably over the last, I don't know, 7 to 10 years more in TDM and that side as parking and transportation have more merged. Fun fact. That's a tough one.
Packs at $33 a pack.
You know, Pat's ruining my thing going right now.
I just muted her.
All right, thank you. I'm not sure if I have any fun facts. I kind of worked in higher ed for about 23 years, and at all the universities I've worked every single Division I football game every year for the last 24 years, except for one that I only worked till the first quarter. So every football game I've worked on every campus I've been in for like 22, 23 years. So I don't know if that's you feel sorry for me about that or if that's a good thing, but anyway.
We're only sorry for you when you come to Alabama. Sorry.
Oh, don't say this Roll Tide stuff. Oh man. All right.
I'm stirring the pot. I'm turning my mic off.
All right, sounds good.
So that being said, thank you very much, Sam and Michelle. We do have 2 guest speakers here today, and we are going to start with Veronica and then go to Connie. So Veronica, if you don't mind telling us who you are, and then kind of jump in and give us your elevator spiel on public policy.
Absolutely. My name is Veronica Jarvis, and I am in Olympia, Washington, so the exact other corner of the country from most of you. And I work for a regional planning council here, our MPO, And I've been here for just under a year, and I am a TDM and commute share production planner. And prior to that, I worked for 2 different governors doing transportation budgeting and outreach. So I can't stay away from transportation. I love it. So I do want to talk to you a little bit today, though, about the Public Policy Committee. I haven't been on it very long, but I have a lot to say about it. I have a lot to say about a lot of things. So Public Policy Committee, for just those of you that don't know, is there's, I think, 13 of us. And we also work in concert with the crew at Smith Dawson Andrews. They're our government consulting firm that we use. And those guys are super helpful. So we meet, I think we meet about once a month, and sometimes more often as needed or less often as needed. But I just want to make sure if there's one thing you get out of this, that nothing else, because you're still listening right now, is if you have any issues that are affecting TDM or anything like that in your region, bring them to us, because it might be something that is a larger issue nationwide or internationally that we could help start working on. I know we've discussed things like telework and taxation and things like that, and what we want to take on next. So make sure to just speak up, share with one of the members of the group, contact David Strauss, contact your chapter, and just let us know if there's a policy issue or some concerns in your area, and we'll see if it's something we can help out with or help you tackle. And most of what we do is sort of discuss recommendations on policy positions for ACT, and make recommendations to the ACT Board of Directors. And right now, our big push is to educate and advocate for the More Through TDM Act. Can you guys post a reaction if you know about the More Through TDM Act? You can use the reaction button. You can use your regular thumb. All right, good. Wanted to make sure everybody knew what it was. Yes, Connie's celebrating it, as you should. Great. So I just want to make sure everybody had at least heard of it. One of the pushes we're doing, this being TDM week, which I hope you all are also posting on social media about that. Again, Connie's just killing it with her background. I think she might be an all-star student. But with TDM week, we're trying to tell our success stories about what works in TDM. My agency, we're a government agency technically. We're a council of governments. I tend to think of that as like we post more boring stuff. No offense to my agency, but I tried to spice it up a little, and I used some all caps. I used a couple hashtags, like things got crazy. So I really encourage you to just, if you can post this week about any TDM successes, it's a great way for ACT to put them all together in one place, because otherwise, we have all these organizations and companies that are doing awesome things, but how do we put all the great data and success in one place? So that's one of the main goals of TDM week, but also just getting more attention to TDM generally, and trying to get our More Through TDM Act passed at the federal level. So my next question here is going to be, who on the call has ever reached out to their congressional delegation in any way? Post a reaction, any kind of reaction if you have. Okay, good. All right. So a few of you have. This is good. Yeah. I was going to say, if you've never reached out to your congressperson, senator, it's a great time to tell them about the More Through TDM Act and what can be done with a lot of extra money dedicated to TDM, and just defining TDM in the law so we can use other pots of money. So that's something the Public Policy Committee did give a little spiel on about a few weeks ago, but if you need help with that at all, I'm happy to help. The Public Policy Committee is happy to help. It can be a simple email. It can be trying to get a meeting with them. And now is a great time, but next week is too. So it's not a huge rush, but we're trying to get the bill passed, I think, hopefully before or during the summer. So you have time, but the sooner the better. So if you need help with any of that, I just want to offer myself as a resource, and the Public Policy Committee as a resource. And I think that's about all I wanted to say. I also want to make sure to give you guys a few minutes for questions, but TDM week, More Through TDM Act, contact your congressperson, senator, etc. Tell people the great TDM story. So that's all I've got. Anybody have any questions?
I have less of a question and more of a statement that I'm sure you guys probably talk about all the time, but I have always struggled because I have always worked for a government agency that can't really lobby or can't really,
Right.
politically we run into that challenge. And so, any thoughts that ACT can have down the road on how to do that without doing that, would be very helpful because I'm very passionate about this and certainly want to support. I've never figured out the good way to do that.
Yeah, and thank you so much for asking that question. That's something that we discussed at our last public policy session. And it's something that I am restrained from. I'm not technically allowed to lobby either. I would have to get the full approval of our Council of Government. So I'd have to ask like 20 members if they approve it. And to do that, I'd have to put together a proposal and et cetera, et cetera. It would take months. I could do it, but it's something that is not accessible for quick getting things, advocating for things. So I have always tried to put myself in an education role, and that's what I call what I do. And it is, I'm reaching out. I reach out to my congressional delegation and I say, I just want to make you aware of this act that's going through Congress. If you have questions, I'm happy to tell you what it could do in our community, because that's something I'm always able to do. And government is supposed to tell people what we can do with federal money. So that's something that I provide and offer to our congressional delegation is give them information and say, if you want examples of how this could be used in our community, I can tell you about other projects we've done. And that's a good opportunity for me to tell them about the cool projects we have already done. Sometimes that's with state money, or sometimes we're just doing it with local planning dollars, but it's a chance for me to share some of the things our planning organization has done. So I consider myself an educator, but I am slightly advocating, but I have been very careful about, we have a state law on it, and that I can't use public dollars for these specific things. And I do adhere to it, but I am educating. And I think that that's something that Congress people need, is to hear about what their dollars are doing in the communities that they're serving. So I think it's a really important function.
And I'll just add to that, because there are times when I'm not allowed to as well at Enterprise. And so I've had to be careful about that. And I've had conversations as ACT president, it becomes a little bit, awkward for me sometimes. So I come at it from ACT's perspective. I am an individual, I am a constituent. And so
Yep.
as a constituent, I can actually, and that's what I've done a lot of, is I've gone straight to my own representatives and I live in this area, or I work in this area, and this is, and so I'm advocating for myself as a constituent. And I think that's been, for the most part, has been my take on things when I am sort of limited to how I can do it.
Right. No one can hold you down for advocating for your own things.
That was great. Thank you for that perspective. So Connie, you're up next. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the National Board, what the board does, and what it's like to be president?
Absolutely. So I am Connie McGee. I work for Commute with Enterprise. I've been with Enterprise for 24 years and been with Commute for almost 23 of those. We've been various iterations during those 23 years, but been a long time. I have been a member of ACT since 2007. My first conference was in Atlanta in 2007. And I was chapter president for 5 years. And then I took a seat on the board in 2012 as a national director. I thought it would be interesting. I was representing the chapter. It's not something, it's something I absolutely recommend, having that experience. But I was president at the same time I became the national director, which I didn't recommend, but After a while, and as I was asked to step up and become vice president, I had to step down as chapter president. So I was chapter president from 2009 to 2014 here in Northern California. And then I became, I was a director from 12 to 14 before I stepped up as vice president, where I served for 4 years as vice president under Rob Henry. And then in 2018, I think it was my first year as president of the board, my first 2 years, and I'm currently serving in my second term, second and last term as president. So it's definitely been a lot of, since 2009, I've been very involved in leadership, and I've always taken the stance that you get back what you put out. And I like to, I enjoy myself so much more when I'm engaged in what I'm doing. And being involved in, the local board was probably, although I love the national board, so don't get me wrong there, but I loved being chapter president. It was one of my favorite things that I did. I just really enjoyed the involvement. I had a great board and a lot of fun. We just had a lot of fun, and it was local. But stepping up at the national level really opened my eyes and gave me, I will tell you that I think the thing I've gotten the most out of ACT in general is, I'm a leader in my company, but I feel like I've gotten so much more leadership skills and ability to work with large groups of people by being involved in ACT, because I've had to be able to, learn how to, to work with a real diverse group of people. It's been absolutely immeasurable, the amount that I've been able to get from it. I know I've encouraged a lot of people through the same line of thinking, and that you really do. If you put something into ACT, you will get so much more out than you ever thought. As far as what we are doing on the board, well, it depends on the day. Right now, the focus has really strongly, obviously with TDM week is a really big one for us, but it's like just kind of go from one event to the next. But it is, it is about engagement. The committees have been our biggest. I think the thing we're working on the most is the committees. There's been a lot of emphasis placed on that and a lot of opportunity. You don't have to just serve on a board. You can find yourself in a committee, and I think because that's where the work is actually being done now. So because the committees actually do the work of the board, or for the board, not of the board, but for the board. So the board may say, hey, these are things we want to have done, and then that goes down to the committees, and the committees are actually doing the actions. So there's a lot of involvement and a lot of things that they can actually get done. And I think that because we've moved so strongly towards committees, committee leadership and involvement, that we're able to get so much more done. And I think in this last year, especially with everything that's happened, this has been such a great year for people to get more involved. I think it's given a sense of accomplishment to a lot of people. To be able to feel like, we look at the past year and the things that we accomplished in the early dark days of the pandemic, putting together the work from, return to office documents that we did, doing those virtual conversations every Friday, and a lot of, and looking at what the chapters are doing. I mean, you guys have been doing a fantastic job. By the way, I did see your video. Thank you, Michelle, for pointing that out and making sure I did see it.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. They're about to see it. Shh, Connie.
I'm just going to say this. Fantastic. And for those who were involved in putting it together, brilliant job. So I'll leave it at that, just the anticipation. And, but, I think that it's that kind of stuff is so phenomenal. And it's so great that people get that excited about doing what they're doing for ACT and doing what they're doing for TDM. So when Michelle asked me to come on and talk today, I said, well, what am I going to talk about? All I can do is just tell you that what I have gotten out of ACT is everything about what I've put into it. And it's been an amazing well, I've been on the board of directors, national board of directors for 9 years, and it's been some of the best years, and I can't say enough about it. So, any questions I can answer for you?
That was awesome, Connie. I will say, before this chapter turns into my dictatorship, this will be my last year as president. But I have loved it, which is why, I went from kind of being handed the role to actually saying, I want this role. But it is a game changer in my participation with ACT and just getting involved and getting to know people. So if anybody is on the fence, I highly recommend, whether it's locally with us here at SEACT or on a national level, it definitely.
You would be a great candidate for national board, and love to talk to you about that. Where I started, so I will say it was pretty close to a dictatorship as well, and getting to the point where I needed to step down. But it's a great stepping stone. So.
Well, awesome. So if anybody has any questions for Veronica or Connie, I'm sure that they are available to connect directly with moving forward. And I want to say thank you both for joining us today. I want to be respectful of your time and say, if you need to or would like to sign out, please feel free to. Otherwise, we'd love to have you join for the rest of the meeting. If you have time available, but we will continue on through the agenda. I do have to leave early, and as dictator of the organization, I do want to show the video before I have to go. So we are going to keep plugging along from this point on, but Veronica, Connie, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. So moving on. TDM week. So we had a lot of talking from both Veronica and Connie did both mention TDM week. And I was just curious if anybody could throw into the chat if they did any social media or reached out to any of their legislature or did their organization do anything? Just curious. I put some social media out on our website, on our Facebook account. But just curious if there was anything else. And here's a question, Connie, since you're still on the phone. Is this something that's going to be annual, or is this kind of a one-time deal?
Well, I think when we started it out, we hoped that it would become annual, but we also knew that if it doesn't, then we could step away from it. But I don't see why not. I think that's our goal, is for it to become annual. So we'd ideally like to have it, I think our initial conversation was, should we make it the same week every year, or do we just, rather than tagging a specific month, do we just move it based on our own needs? So some of that stuff's still up for discussion, but I think that it is something that we are definitely interested in doing every year, because it's a great opportunity for us to get data. And I think for us, that's been what's really great, and following the hashtag and being able to pull that information and seeing what everybody's doing around the country, because we don't have that information.
I like that. And the one thing I will throw out there that just popped into my head is if this is going to be an annual thing, it would be super great if on the website you could put resources, so I could just pull the graphics and the icons and whatever.
Well, it's all in there. If you go to tdmweek.org,
Thank you.
Website there is a separate website for TDM week, so you can go there. There is some information. Now remember, this is the first year we put this up really quick.
Yeah.
So going forward, I think we'll see more stuff from that. But right now, we've been trying to put more stuff up. I know staff has actually done a great job in being able to quickly make adjustments. Rob Henry, I will put a plug in there for Rob Henry, who really was instrumental in pulling this together, as well as the PPC. But Rob, put most of these graphics. The one right now that's behind me is one that, Rob and his team put together. So note that, yes, there may be some information, but there's a good amount of stuff there. At least there's some good backgrounds that you can use. If you want to just tweet out something about TDM week, there should be enough diversity in the logos there.
Awesome. And Elizabeth, thank you for putting that link into the chat. That's very helpful for everybody. The membership campaign. So Allie, I know you put this out there or onto the agenda. I was curious, did you actually want to give an update, or were you going to ask me to throw Elizabeth and Connie under the bus and ask them to?
Well, I think they've probably given the update multiple times, or at least can give a good sneak peek so that if you're interested in trying to grow membership and get something out of it, that you might go look at all of the additional resources created. Elizabeth, I don't know if you want to tease in case people haven't checked their email or seen the new membership campaign. Gave us a taste of it too the last time that she spoke at our meeting.
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat as well, all about the links today. So you can take a look. There's 3 different components to it. There's a recruiter of the year component that you as an individual can earn. There's a lifetime recruiter that you also as an individual can earn, but that's cumulative, right? So if you've been a member for 10 years and you've recruited 10 organizations that have joined ACT, you can list them all, and then you would be eligible for the 10 member award. And then the part that is chapter focused is our new thing that's ACT for Good. And I can go into more detail about that, Sabrina, if you want. I don't want to monopolize your agenda. So it's all on the website though, so you can read it there. And then there's a couple of resources. So
Yeah, so what we'll do, since you'll be joining us, Elizabeth, is maybe let's make a note of that and we can regroup on that and give everybody a chance to visit the website and maybe come up with any questions they might have. And then we can add that into the next agenda. Would be great. One thing that did come up that I think maybe as a chapter, just based on the fact that we covered the amazing SEC, is looking at how do we grow membership in our college and university environments. This came up on our chapter leaders call the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's a really good question. And not just from the perspective of individuals in the parking and transportation departments, but maybe it is the, everybody has a sustainability committee or group or division, maybe engaging them in part of that conversation, or even students. I know UNC Chapel Hill has an amazing planning program, urban planning program, and that could be a great resource to bring students into the organization and ultimately connecting for jobs and future TDM activities. So I just wanted to add that and throw that kind of out there for everyone to consider, and maybe we can delve more into it as we look at this new opportunity for growing membership. Michelle, I think you were on the call. Did you take anything else away from that the other day?
Yeah, I think the other thing, and Sabrina and I were, whenever we're on those calls, we're always messaging each other. Oh my God, that's so amazing. We totally need to do that. And Allie and I are doing the same thing half the time. One of the things that we kept hearing pop up was the other chapters want to work with us on, or just collaborate more. So taking that from a webinar perspective, or just information and resources perspective. So I think I'm going to try to reach out to Chesapeake because I have some friends up there, and then Valley of the Sun also. So if you guys know people out there, but I think that'll be something that we need to talk about as potential that we can collaborate more.
Thank you. Okay, so Elizabeth, I don't know if the best way to do this is to put the link for our chapter of the year video. I just sent it just to Allie because as Michelle was saying, we do chat during these conversations. I just put the link for our chapter of the year video. So as you guys know, because we asked for some support from you as far as testimonials and that kind of thing for our submission, ACT this year was doing something different, which I think was really exciting. And especially for us as a board, because we started looking at all of these things that we do, what should we be doing? What can we do in the future? As we put together our application or nomination to be chapter of the year. And those of you who have been members of our chapter for a while know that we love to make videos of things. I don't know what that is about, but we try to always do something. And so we put together a small little spoof to submit with our application from the movie Anchorman. So if you hate the movie Anchorman, then this will likely not be for you. If you've never seen it, it may not be as funny as we thought we were, but hopefully you will enjoy. Can you play it for me, Elizabeth?
Or do we need Paul and
Maybe.
Green?
Let me see if I can do this. Hang on.
If not,
I
that
just
might
need
be
to
easier than just-
share my screen. I just don't know
And-
about.
And probably the
Share
volume or the sound little check mark too, Elizabeth.
Could you hear that?
No, you got to hit the sound button for Zoom.
It's whenever you go to share your screen, you'll see that there's a little button you can check. to
Oh, I
share
see.
your
and you
sound.
have to,
Yeah, let's see.
It's okay. I just do that like once a week and it's been a year now. So
I know, right? Okay, let's try this.
4 News at 6 o'clock.
Hello, ACT National. Live from Studio 1A.5, this is Sabrina Glenn with WSSW, the Why SEACT Should Win Network. I'm glad that you could join us for this live special report. We've done studies and found that 60% of the time, shameless videos work all of the time. So now for the news. Let's turn to my co-anchor Allie, who's still reporting from home.
1001, 1002. Ugh. Oh, hi, Sabrina. I wasn't expecting company. Oh, it's a deep burn. Oh, it's so deep. I don't know if you heard me counting, but I did over 1,000. You know, that's what you have to do to be part of the best chapter in ACT. You see, from my time spent at WATL over the last year, I've seen not only monthly chapter member meetings, but monthly board meetings to help the team stay on top of the work plan and further enhance the experience for our SEACT members. The highlight of the year was likely those themed happy hours, from costume contests, TDM Halloween trivia, to scavenger hunts, and even playing code names. Oh, and I cannot forget about brainstorming the signature cocktail for the Orlando International Conference. Oh yeah, I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch, scotch. Here it goes down, down into my belly. Anyways, it has been a great year at WATL to not only engage our members, but provide value for their membership. Back to you, Sabrina. Let's see if ACT National likes these goods.
Wow, Allie. All I have to say to the audience is, don't act like you're not impressed. And now, a report from our finance correspondent, Michelle. Michelle?
Unique New York, unique New York, original Orlando. Oh, hey, Sabrina. Thanks for checking in with me today. As chapter treasurer, my job is to pay all the bills. Our chapter is so busy that I just can't stop writing all those checks. Maybe it's for a happy hour winner because they did an awesome costume, a sponsorship to UNC Chapel Hill for their virtual event, or a scholarship for all the conferences. That's right. At SEACT, we provide scholarships to all big ACT National events and their initiatives, because that's just what we do. As I sit here in my study, the smell of leather and mahogany emanate all around me, and I just have to wonder, are we that good? And by George, yes, we are. My favorite payout was to Sylvia Crum for her Oscar-winning performance. So reporting live from WSSN in Birmingham, this is Michelle Altoff, now to Sylvia Crum.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm here on the street to tell you that we're skilled at discussing very important issues. Take, for example, our Getting the Most Out of Your Membership series, where ACT National board and committee members, chairs, tell us about their work. Did you know that 12 of our members serve on the national board and committees? We are comfortable using TDM jargon. We are comfortable using TDM jargon in everyday life. Qualified transportation fringe benefits? You bet. During monthly meetings, we encourage our members to turn on their cameras. During our monthly meetings, we encourage our members to turn on their cameras to get to know each other with our Smiling Faces Award. And as Michelle said, we hosted a TDM video contest to find out how our members pivoted during COVID, for which I won an Oscar. Back to you, Sabrina.
Thank you, Michelle and Sylvia. I'm in a glass case of emotion after that stunning information. Do we have any reports from the tech desk?
Coming to you from WSSN Technology Center, I'm Paul Strahl, your Technology Committee Chair. As the only chapter with a dedicated chapter website, we provided a site for members to find sponsorship applications, scholarship applications, committee registrations, links to newsletters, contact information, and a dedicated YouTube channel which shows our chapter member recordings, happy holiday messages, and of course, the ACT International 2021 announcement. I'm sure you remember the magic. All of this, but maybe most importantly, we link to ACT National. And what we love about ACT National is they always pick the best chapter of the year, even when that means that chapter wins back to back. Back to you.
Interesting, Paul. Now that's a scientific fact. Anything to add from our correspondents in the field?
It's so damn hot in Florida. Milk was a bad choice. But what was a good choice was the decision made by 35 people in the past few months to follow SEACT on LinkedIn. Our page has expanded its connections from 88 at the start of 2021 to 123, and the social media exposure hasn't stopped there. SEACT has been the only ACT chapter to host an engagement contest for the ACT Connect portal. Additionally, the Marketing and Communications Committee regularly engages members through our ambassador program. Ambassadors for our states reach to their designated members requesting content to be shared on LinkedIn and Connect. We love to highlight the great works our folks are doing in the wide world of TDM. And son of a bee sting, have you seen our newsletters? This year, our quarterly newsletters upgraded to include videos like the message from the president. Our SEACT members love hearing from Sabrina and staying informed on everything SEACT. Speaking of members, Stacy is live on the scene with a member watch. I'm Sarah Sailorstone reporting live from WSEACTFL.
Thank you, Sarah. Member watch and the mood is tense. I've been on some serious reports, but nothing quite like this. It's day 365, and we've seen a 19% increase in the number of SEACT chapter members. The good news is that all the angles are good angles. No jerk pandas here, only welcome members. And this is in part due to the new member welcome meetings that we started last year. So awesome that ACT National stole them from us. So as Sabrina said, don't act like you're not impressed. This is Stacy Burton signing off for the WSSW News team. Back to you, Sabrina.
I do believe this means we're kind of a big deal. People know us. Just listen to what they have to say. Kevin says, this is the first organization I've been a part of where members were as open and welcoming. Sam reported, the SEACT happy hour meetings were my favorite professional Zoom get-together of last year. And who could forget Sarah stating, the SEACT board has gone out of their way to figure out ways to make activities with SEACT relevant and useful to its membership. And in closing, Lynn stated, SEACT offers a listening ear, brainstorming moments with leadership, relief on long afternoons to network with others, training opportunities, creative spirit, a support team, and financial scholarships for various programs, events, and even travel. And now you know the rest of the story. This is Sabrina Glenn signing off. Thank you, and stay classy, ACT National. That's probably our best video yet. Thank you, everybody. You did an amazing job. Ron, on the teleprompter, wonderful. Allie, looking good.
So that was part of our application. Like I said, if you like Anchorman, it probably was amusing. If not, we just killed 10 minutes of your day that you'll never get back. But we did enjoy putting that together and look forward to seeing what happens in Orlando. This is going to be posted on our SEACT YouTube page, and we will email it out. So if you just feel like throughout the day, getting our faces all over your screen, you can watch it over and over again.
We're getting some awesome feedback in the chat, Sabrina.
Oh, are we getting good feedback? Thank you.
You guys like it? You can come off. You can come off mute.
Yes. So, and thank you, Lynn, Sam. I know you're on the call for your comments. I don't think Sarah's here, but it was really fun. And like we said, this is part of the joy of being on the board. So get involved, get engaged. You too can make a ridiculous video.
And I will say I'm really looking forward to the next video about how we can come out of our houses and start traveling again. I've heard rumor that there might be something coming. Maybe.
Yes.
I look forward to your next video. Let's just say that.
There have been some discussions, and we will be roping members of the board in. We would like to make a video to send out to the National Conference registrants to remind them what protocol is when you go to a conference. Like, you have to wear pants. So for those of you working at home, you may need to order some off of Amazon before you come out. So any ideas you have about things to remember now that we're going into public, we would love for you to share them so we can add them into our next video.
The more ridiculous, the better.
Yes, the more ridiculous, the better. Like my desire to color coordinate my mask with every outfit. That being said, I do think from an interest of time, I would like to jump through the agenda a little bit. I'm sorry to our committee chairs, but I think we want to touch on the ACT International Conference and have a couple of items related to that. Courtney, I saw you on the call. I think you're still here. Are you still here? Do you have any updates you would like to start with?
Hey guys,
There you
I'm
are,
always
Courtney
like,
Reynolds.
which Courtney? Okay, hey guys.
Yeah, Courtney Reynolds, sorry.
No, there's a lot of Courtneys in the world as well, 80 babies. Well, I hope that folks saw, gosh, was it in mid-April? We did get an update, an email update since the last SEACT conversation about the conference and kind of some questions about safety protocol. So if you didn't see it, search, I'll send it. But what was really great is that ACT was able to get pictures of the venue to kind of give a, just kind of a sense of like what you'd be going into. I know personally, I'm only just now starting to venture out into the world. So it's just new and it's just different, right? And so it is on the website. I'll put a link in here in the chat. ACT has pictures up of what to expect and also reiterates all the safety protocols. I can't wait to see all y'all. Like, I'm just so excited. And as you can see, when I get around people, I'm like chatty Cathy in like a whole new way. So prepare thyself. Conference begins in 79 days, 10 hours and 12 minutes. There's a countdown on the conference website. So when you go to see that too, you can also see they've updated what the session panels, like when the actual time of Monday this is happening and on and on. So shout out to Stacy Burton for working on all of that and other folks who are on the conference committee. So Michelle, I'm not going to get everybody here. Sarah, oh, there's so many, but we're just really excited to have you. And let's bring any specific questions.
No. Michelle or Sarah, did you have something? So it's Stacy, something else you wanted to add? I know that, here's a question. Based on who's on the call right now in the chat, can you put if, yes, I'm definitely attending, I'm hoping to attend, but haven't been released for travel yet, or no, I won't be attending?
That's great, Sabrina. We have seen
hoping to attend.
It ticking up, and it does seem like maybe the organization's protocols have been relaxed a bit. So,
is there a program online yet?
There is. Yep, I'll go ahead and I'll put it in the link here.
Cool, thank you.
When people are saying pending approval, is that pending budget approval, pending travel approval? Can you be a little bit more specific for us? Because I'm seeing a lot of hoping to attend, but pending approval, and I'm just curious what that actually means. And if you want me to call your boss for you, like when your mom used to call the coach, I'd be happy to do that.
I don't know if we have this, and if I'm skipping around, you know me, I do it anyway. So sorry to Sylvia's pretty agenda, but if I don't make a plug for this, Courtney might hurt me. if you're waiting on budget approval, we have scholarships and we have been talking about that frequently, and we need to probably resend that out to everyone in the chapter, but we're being a lot more flexible with it. But if you're going, we would love to give you money to make sure you can go and attend. So make sure you're going on the website, to the amazing website that Paul mentioned on the video.
Yeah, it looks
And
like a
just
lot of
to-
the feedback is just the travel restrictions.
Right. And I was going to say, and as of right now, ACT National is still following a very, very liberal return policy, or return policy, return the conference, a refund policy, which was something that my boss was helpful in getting him to agree at this point to register versus waiting longer. So just something for people to keep in mind. Okay. And thank you, Michelle, for talking about the scholarship. I did want, so everybody can put it on their calendars because I've already put it on mine. The schedule is up. Courtney, thank you for sharing that. And our chapter annual meeting will be on August 3rd at 4:45 p.m. for those of you that will be attending the conference. So if you want to mark that on your calendar now, I know it'll be in the app that we use for the conference, but just something important to keep there. And the other thing I wanted to mention was,
Repeat that date and time, please.
yes, August 3rd at 4:45 to 5:45. The room is to be determined.
Monday the 2nd.
Monday the 2nd?
Yeah.
I thought I looked on the thing. My apologies. It's August 2nd at 3:45. Thank you, Elizabeth. This is why I don't send out the calendar notices anymore. But what the reason why that was very important to me is I wanted to say that then on August, we needed to decide when we wanted to have our chapter get together and what makes sense for that and where do we want to have that. So that is something that I think everybody needs to start thinking about. And I think we would want feedback for those of you that are going. Can you throw in the chat, are you bringing your family or are you traveling solo? Because I think that also depends on what people do kind of after the regular sessions.
And then Sabrina, you may have thought about this before, but the location that we'll be in is pretty isolated. So it's not necessarily like walkable to another location that's not a Disney enterprise. So there's so many awesome things to see in Orlando. I can't get to them from the hotel easily. So just something to plan ahead for time-wise.
I think Sarah did mention that, and we may just end up getting a keg and putting it in my hotel room and doing it there. Thank you, Courtney, that was classic. But no, seriously, we will try to figure out something. I mean, last year in New York, we did just kind of use a corner of one of the bar areas for us to get together. And so that may be what ends up happening, but just kind of wanted to get some ideas.
The location of the hotel is literally next to Epcot.
Oh,
literally.
I lived in Florida for 14 years and never went to Epcot.
It is a great place to drink around the world.
But we would have to get tickets to get in there.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
There's also Disney Boardwalk, which it's right on. There's like multiple, the Beach and Yacht Club. So, and if you guys haven't seen that, I think we shared it last time, Sabrina, but it's super easy walking distance. Lots of bars and some restaurants right there.
There's
And then
also,
there's
we've
Disney
done this in the We've done this in the past where we've actually purchased there is actually, they do Disney After Dark a lot, where you can actually purchase severely discounted tickets to get into the parks after 5 o'clock, which actually works really well for conference attendees.
Yeah, I think I checked on that price. I need to double check it, but I think at the time I checked on it, the Disney After Dark ticket was $65 or $75.
It was 65, I think.
Yeah, that might be a little pricey and exclude some members that might want to go with us.
I think all that pricing was in the newsletter or the email that went out to everybody today. If you didn't get it, because I know they don't go to everybody, it should be on that conference webpage somewhere or website.
Wherever we go, though, when I called and talked to one of the places, they said everybody has to have reservations right now because they're still doing the COVID safe practices. So we need to, I guess we need to think about it and go ahead and get the reservations for the group.
It looks like we lost Sabrina. So Allie, are you in charge now?
Yeah, yeah, I'm in charge. Thank you. She had to jump off. So I think we can just make a note for the board that we discuss this on our next call, and maybe the after dark scholarships, because that is kind of a great idea. I don't know if we can do it, but it's definitely worth looking at. Anything else for the international conference? No, okay. I think also in the interest of time, since we have 5 minutes left now, I'm going to jump down really quick to our upcoming gatherings. We did some polling on our last meeting to get a sense of when you guys want to have get-togethers, and found that maybe some morning time activities would be fun. So we've scheduled for next week 2 coffee and connections, and not knowing what time was best for everyone, considering we cover different time zones. They are both at 8:30 a.m., but the first one is in Eastern time and the second one is in Central time. So now where we are registering for our monthly meetings for SEACT, those are also listed on the same webpage. So if you go to actweb.org, find SEACT, you can actually go right to that our webpage and register for which one or both if you're feeling really saucy and would like to join. Likely we'll have some conversation questions prepared, but if you've got something you'd like to talk about or ask of the other members, feel free, bring your coffee, your breakfast, whatever you're comfortable with. We're going to divide and conquer based on our time zones on the board. So we're looking forward to it and trying something new based on what you guys had told us that you'd like to see. And don't forget, on the same day, the new members welcome will be later that afternoon on May 19th. So whether you're new or you feel like you want to just make sure you learn more about ACT, if you heard from Connie or Veronica today and thought I'd like to know more, Stacy Burton puts those on and they're super great for new members, but really can give you kind of an ACT 101 if you're trying to figure out where might be a good place for you to get involved in the organization. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Ellie, I just wanted to have a minute to check in with people. It seemed like you all got here today. Our numbers looked about the same as we are at other meetings eventually. But how did it feel today? Because I know that we've asked you to do it a little bit different way. Do you have any feedback for us that you could either put in the chat or just go ahead and unmute and tell us about how that went today? And is there anything that we could do to make that easier for you?
I wasn't able to get the link. I think it's because I registered immediately and then the date changed and maybe my registration was canceled out and I was supposed to. Anyway, I got in because I got sent the link otherwise, but it was tricky.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that, Lynn. Yeah, that's helpful. And I know, Michelle, you had some trouble too. Could you say what it was, Michelle, just so we'll know for next time? Oh,
can't hear you.
Michelle, I see that you're unmuted and you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Wait, are we in a video and y'all are pulling a joke on us?
That would be really clever of us.
You're still muted, Michelle.
Technical difficulties.
There. Okay, thank you, Michelle.
We got it. We can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay. I kept getting an error message after I completed the form because it said I needed to register to use that Zoom. And then every time I completed it, it just gave me an error. Didn't go anywhere. So I'm not sure what that could be, the user.
Okay.
But yeah.
I don't know what that was, but I appreciate that, Michelle. And Elizabeth is listening too, because she's helping us with this. My thinking was that I would continue putting on our SEACT calendar the little SEACT calendar holder for you and put everybody in at the beginning of the month just to say, hey, everyone, don't forget SEACT meeting is on this date.
Okay.
And then giving that ActWeb/SEACT, I don't want to say it wrong, but our SEACT page on ACT that has the list of all the events for the month, giving that link in the calendar invite so that then you go to the calendar and say, click on the link, register for whichever meetings you want to come to this month. And then that gives you the Zoom information. But I want to be sure you have the placeholder on your calendar because I don't want you to not know when we're meeting.
Right.
But I know that that's also an extra step. So I don't know how
Yeah, we can't share the link anymore, but and I know we have to hop off. It's 1 o'clock and people are gonna hop, but we'll take the feedback game plan with Elizabeth and make sure that we try to make this as easy as possible. So for you guys that were having issues, we'll check in.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, last thing real quick, because Allie had to hop off too, and I'm about to as well. I need Sylvia, I need you to pick a number 1 to 10.
5.
Perfect. Hold please. Savannah Robertson.
Yay!
You're the official Smiling Faces Award winner. So you get $10 to Amazon.
Woo! Thank you for having your camera on today.
All right. That is officially all we have.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a great day.